Hey folks, so I've been a little sick lately, so my voice is not the greatest today. Apologies in advance for that. But we're going to keep working on our Scottish Gaelic Tattoo Handbook app, and we're going to be doing some more work on the browse screen today. So, this is what we have so far, or rather, I did a little experiment a second ago. Oh, wrong. This is what we have so far. Give it a second to load. And I want to show it to you and compare it to what the mock-ups look like. So we'll give that a few seconds to load. This is ultimately what we're going for. Of course, we have a couple things we need to fix on the home screen too, but this is what we have, right? So one of the main things that I notice here is that the spacing between these items is even right here, and there's a gap here. And then, of course, we have to make the corners rounded, and it looks like these are a little bit wider than they are tall. So we'll work on all that stuff today. The way that you round corners, now you can do it in the storyboard. Today we're going to do it programmatically. We're going to do it on the layer for each of our individual cells, like so. Our corner radius, I'm going to set that to 8. We'll take a look at how that looks in a little bit. Then let's go over to our main.storyboard. And we have each of these items in our browse. So this is our cell. Here's our category cell. And what I would like to do is I would like to set the width and height. I think potentially dynamically, but at the very least I think we need to change the width relative to the height. Let's see how that looks. Now this is not going to look good on a smaller device, and so, or maybe it'll actually look okay. We'll find out. So these are our thingies. I think it even needs to be a little bit more squatched. And then what I would really like to do is see how it would potentially look on a smaller device too. Okay, that's a little bit closer. Let's just look at this. So our spacing needs to change. I still think the ratio, I think actually where we're updating the ratio is not doing it, is what I really think is happening. Because if you look at this here, that already is clearly like way different to what we had. So here's our thing and the attributes. So we want this to be more like 110. But we need to set in our categories collection view the height to be whatever it's supposed to be. Yeah, that looks a little bit closer, a little better. And then I also want the min spacing to be higher. And then this min spacing between cells might have to be, so it has the minimum spacing, I think, because it spaces things out further and further until you can fit another cell in there. And I just want to make sure that that's going to look okay on bigger and smaller devices. So this that we're looking at right now is going to be one of your larger devices besides an iPad. What I'd like to do is also run it on a smaller one and make sure that that's going to look all right. Yeah, so that looks better. And then what we need to do also is check it on a smaller device. And so what I want to do is like a 6S maybe even a little smaller. We'll start with a 6S. So this is going to take a little bit longer to boot up, and the reason is that it needs to get the simulator started. Previously our simulator was already started. There's something on. All right, launching. One thing about the designs is that we have to kind of guess as to what they're supposed to look like on different devices than we have the design for. Yay. Oh, look, and we have 2 rows. Very pretty. It looks like we may even want a little bit more spacing between the knots and the top. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's fine. Okay, I'm going to shut down that 6S now. Now let's see between these two if we get any information. Ah, look at that. Depending on which of these is selected, we're going to have to switch between a collection view and this list view. That's fine. Alright, so now we have that much. Let's go ahead and make a commit. What we're going to do is and then the second view controller, what we did is we renamed it. So we go into view controllers, and now we have the browse view controller. So we'll add that change too. Because what we effectively did was get rid of it. Why does it say a new file? We don't have second view controller. We only have browse view controller. Alright, that's my bad. We actually need to remove that again. Sorry. We'll remove it. Like so. Let's just make sure that our browse view controller is in the index by doing that. Making sure it appears, and it does. Great, so now we should reset. Commit. Style. Collection view on browse screen. Beautiful. Now we have a couple different options for what we could do. We need to start fetching this from an actual data source. But before we do that, what I would like to do is go back and take a look at our main view controller and see if we can't, or rather our main home screen, and see if we can't improve the situation with these 2 items. So we've got it as a stack view, but what I'm seeing is that when we open it up on the simulator, this one gets squeezed and this one gets prioritized. And that's not what I want. I want them to be equal widths. So I'm going to go to the stack view, and I'm going to look at the attributes on the stack view, and what I would like is for the stack view to make them all equal in width. Let's see how that looks. Now, it may be that a constraint is breaking because if I recall correctly, we set constraints on the width of those two cells, which could be causing the problem. Oh, well, it looks great now. We did it, y'all. Cute. Okay, let's add that change. What are we going to call this? Fix home screen so phrases and clans buttons have equal. Nice. I also talked a little bit to our expert, and after some deliberation, we decided we don't need this carousel thing in here. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that too. Let's go get it. Because we're not paging through anything on that editor view, after all. We thought we would, but the plan changed a little. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to change this view to come up and be centered again. So we've got this stack view. Whoa. Yeah, we've got this stack view. And what we want to do is center it. Can I do that? Let's see how that looks. I'm not sure that's exactly what we wanted, but we'll find out shortly. Because I think we might actually want it a little bit lower than centered. Yikes. Okay, so we want this definitely to move up. So what this needs to do, this stack view first of all, distribution does not need to be. Because right now it's filling, and we don't want that. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to come all the way up to this stack view. I'm actually going to do one of these to get it undone. And then I just want to look at it again to remember where we were. So it's like a little low. So let's click on this and see what the constraints on it are. So our constraints on this looks like maybe nothing. But then those are the stack view. Oh, I see. So we give it bottom space. Let's give it a bottom space of 40. And the reason for that is that we want there to be empty space where our carousel used to be. That's too much. 30. 2. Multiples of 8. I want it to be a little higher than that. Maybe we go back to the 40. Let's try that. I don't feel like this is changing at this point, do you? Because here's the stack view. That's the whole text overlay. We don't want to change that. Like if we made that like huge, what would happen? Actually, that looks pretty good. I like that. Let's go with that. I am going to commit this separately too. Remove carousel from home screen. Send that up. Okay, so let's take a look at this again. We also have our clans. Maybe what we can do is we can go ahead and do this like table situation. We'll do that. So we go to our Xcode, and right now we've got this with its constraints equal so 32 all around except for the bottom, and then the top space is 20. So it goes 32 on the leading and trailing edges. And I presume that we're going to want to copy that for our table view. But here's what we need to do is we're going to go into the Browse View Controller. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to open main.storyboard on the right. Because we have our collection view there, and what we need is this little tab thingy. And this is going to be phrases and clans switch. Great, so let's see what we have available to us on the phrases and clans switch. We have a background image, content offset. Various segment stuff. Number of segments. There's also selected segment index. I wonder if we can get access to that with an action. Let's see if we can. On event, value changed. Let's use did switch use. And then actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this one. The way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to go in here. Then we're going to get rid of that connection. And then I'm going to delete this. Okay. So let value sender as UI segmented control print value dot. And this is probably going to be like whatever the segment is. Selected segment index. I'm going to rename this to segment switch. If you call it a switch, that's like a separate thing in iOS. Okay, so now we can run it. Make sure it all works as expected. You can already hear my voice, like, dying. Okay, so we're switching it. I'm not seeing anything. Are you? In our console. I don't think this is the problem, but just in case. Where's my water? You gotta hydrate when your body is healing. You don't see anything. I don't know why that would be an issue. Like it should print to the console. Let's do that. Run it, see what happens. There, it hit the break point. So I'm going to have it step over that. If it ever wanted to load, of course. Let's try rerunning. And hopefully the breakpoint will hit our, we're checking on the segmented control. I may just need to restart Xcode too. That's a not uncommon occurrence. There we go. Now we need the print thing to print. Oh my gosh, this takes forever. I like a lot of things about the latest version of Xcode. The speed with which this happens is not exactly desirable in my view. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to say switch segments selected segment index. Going to put case 0, case 1, default. It has to be exhaustive, which is why we do default. Okay, well, I wasn't done, Swift. But what I would like to do actually also is say phrase clan segment int. And then what I want these to be are 0 and 1, so this is going to be phrases, case, phrases, clans, cans. So this is going to be our little enum. In order to identify which of these things has been clicked. Yeah. Alright, so now it's, okay. So this is what we're going to do. We are going to make our collection view. What is it called? Categories collection view. Is hidden. False. And here we're going to hide it. Self.categories collection view. And the reason we're doing this is that we're going to replace it with a table view controller later. We'll come back to this. Actually, it's just awesome. Can we do that? I don't think so. It's my Python brain, so we're going to do it that way instead. Alright, everybody rebuild. We're mad. Enum case phrases is not a member of type int. Yes, it is. Let's deal with this. I just want to 100% check how you do this in Swift. Oh, they have to start. Well, this all looks good. Associated values. We're just looking at the enumeration. The enumeration documentation. Yeah, check it out. And the enumeration below is a refinement. I mean, that's fine, but ours should work. So Swift automatically assigns the values for you when you're working with enumerations that store integer or string raw values. When integers are used for raw values, the implicit value of each case is 1 more than the previous case. If the first case doesn't have a value set, its value is 0, which means that what we did should have worked. Unless we have to do this. This better not be what we have to do. That would be annoying. Are you kidding me? All the things that can be implicit in Swift and that can't, I'm cheated. I feel cheated. Okay, so you could see it, you can't. See, can't. You can see it, you can't. You can see it, you can't. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Excellent. Yes. All right. So we've got our thing showing here. Oh god. Let me go ahead and commit that. Git add. Git status. Git commit. Switch between phrases and plans view on browse screen. Beautiful. So now we need to make our table view. So what I'm going to do, watch this. This is so cheating. Alright, so I've got it. I'm not positive this is going to work. Okay, so I'm going to do this. And then what I want is 20, 0, 32, 32. So it's going to be literally directly on top of our collection view. And it's going to be a UI table view. Okay, that's not going to work. That was a good try, but we can't do that. What do you mean, Duke? Okay, new plan. Ta-da! And by the powers vested in me by Git, you're officially undone. Yes. Okay, let's try this again less clever because that didn't work. It was worth a try. I had to try. Okay, there it goes. That's our table view, and I want it to be... Hey, I don't want it to be in the collection view. I want it to be above the thing. This is so... No, it doesn't go inside. Moving orders, people. Alright, okay. 20. Why is it upset? We got the table view. Oh my gosh, how did the collection view get inside it? No. Siblings. And then I want to add these three. That's the exact size I wanted. Let's see if we can do it to the safe area. It's very upset. Our table view, I want one prototype cell. And when I click on that prototype cell, I want to set its background to this garish green. And let's see if we can see it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do our browse view controller. Oh god, no, what are you doing? And we're going to call this clans table view. And the clans table view, we'll deal with this in a second. Yes, so now, whenever clans table view, clans table view's hidden value is always going to be the opposite of whatever the phrase one is. You see what I mean? So, and then in our table view, in order to ensure that it's visible, let's give it this horrible background. Oh, this is for the session index, or section index. No. This is not going to work. Oh, there's our table. We need to give it proper constraints, but it does work. Oh God, what have I done? Give it back its background color since that didn't work. Okay, so our clans table view, I'm going to get rid of this for a second. Wonder why it's not letting me set my constraints on that. We might have to mess with that a little bit later. So we have this prototype cell of a plain style. Let's give that a custom style. Indicators, default style, scrolling, bounce. So many options. User interaction enabled. Let's up the prototype cell so that we'll be able to see in the future. Beautiful. All right. So let's see if we control drag from the safe area. Doesn't want us to do any of that. So our constraints, let's look at our constraints right now. I can't copy it. What if I click on? Wonder why it's not letting me set that constraint. Because, I mean, I guess that we could do it programmatically, but I would really prefer not to. Because we've got this table view cell, right? Custom. I don't know if we need to deal with the indentation. row height. We're not going to have it be automatic. We're going to manually set it to 80 for now. Maybe I have to hit enter. There we go. We'll deal with making it a custom thing later. In the table view itself, we have to set the estimated row height. Row height 80. Uncheck this automatic. 80. Alright, let's see how that looks. Better. We'll have to move these. Right? So I don't know why it's not letting me set the constraints on the table view. See how I can't get to these? Whereas with the collection view, I can. I have access to everything. I wonder if I can't have a table view and collection view as siblings. I don't know that this is going to turn anything out. Probably what we're doing is a little non-standard here with the hiding and the showing. So I can set the vertical spacing on that. I can set outlets, but I can't set... Apparently I can center it horizontally and vertically in the container. That's weird. Alright. I do have one other idea for that. Alright, here we go. This is a harebrained scheme for sure. Oh god, don't do that. Whatever you were about to do. Let's have their leading, their trailing, and the bottom all be the same. Trailing. This is so cheating. Bottom. I don't think this is going to work, by the way. Just like so we're clear. So first of all, I'm going to get rid of that. Trailing, bottom, leading, top. It's just going to inherit all its constraints from the collection view. Cheater, pumpkin eater. I bet it won't even work. Oh, it ruined everything. Look at this. Alright, let's get rid of these. Goodbye. So make sure that unbroke our collection view. We might have to do this table view programmatically, which would be really sad. See how it like runs off? I don't know why it won't let me connect to the save area. I might have to think about how to do this. Because our like strategy here is not working. Unless we can set the constraints programmatically. I don't do this often. Let's see how it works. I don't want to get into this like domain specific language for it. Reading documentation about constraints, or rather, a post about constraints. Alright, we'll make one run at this for the fun of it. And if this doesn't work, then we'll come up with something less ridiculous. So we're going to borrow this, but first we need to set translates auto resizing masks into constraints to false. But some of my constraints were set in the storyboard. Okay, let's look at this. Switching views with segmented control iOS. Give me the last year. I mean, this seems like it would be fun. This programmatically puts the thing in place, which I would ideally like to not have to do. I don't understand why we wouldn't be allowed to do this in the storyboard. But what the heck? So now we don't have it anymore, sad. This is what we're going to do. Let's call it clans table view. UI table view. Man, so sad. And we're gonna move this did switch views thing down. Like, I would rather have my life cycle methods above it, like this. Yeah. So let's do this. Self dot plans table view, UI table view. We can give it a frame. I don't want to really give it a frame. So this is not where we need to translate the auto resizing masks. Let's take a look at that source again. So this is what I kind of want to do. Where is this translates auto resizing masks thing? And what is it on, and who has it? Oh, it's on the view itself. Well, that solves a lot of problems, actually. Okay, kids. Self.clans.tableview.trans. Okay, so we're going to set that to false. And then this. Watch this. There's zero way that this is going to work. Leading equal to, we're going to do this buddy situation again. Self dot categories. What is it called? Categories collection view? Leading anchor. This is going to mess up the categories collection view for sure. This is like your little brother always trying to hang out with you. And even though it's flattering, it sucks. Bottom. Bottom. What do we not do? Trailing? I'm not in teaching mode here, people. I don't know if this is going to work. Okay, should we see if it works? I mean, works in the sense of like... self.clansTableView.isHidden equals false. Alright, let's see if this works. I will be shocked, honestly, if this works. Like, if the build passes, I'll be suspicious. Alright, I'm suspicious. Oh. Unexpectedly found nil while implicitly unwrapping an optional value. Why? Who was nil? Was this nil? Immediately deallocated. Do you hear that? Immediately. Wow. Cold. Okay. Let's try this. Boom. It's upset now. It can't activate the constraint. Does the constrainer its anchors reference items in different view hierarchies? That's illegal. Oh my gosh, y'all. We did something illegal. Be gay, do crimes. This is our crimes. Wow. Okay. So we might have to think some more about how to do this. Because we tried a storyboard approach that didn't work. And then we tried a programmatic approach that also didn't work. I might have to think about this. Definitely comment if you've done this, because I haven't, and although I'm confident that we will figure it out, we have not figured it out yet. But I'm also feeling under the weather by enough that, based on the way my other two ideas went, I don't think whatever third idea I would come up with right now is going to work either. So I'm going to sleep on it, and we're going to come back to it tomorrow. Deal? Deal. This was fun.